Okay, we are done. So, okay. So, we are in chapter 10. We finished 50%. 9 chapters are over. So, Vibhuti Yoga, opulence of the Absolute. Let's pay our obeisance to Sri Radha Govinda. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanaka Shalakaya Chakshumbitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Pada Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnamscha Sri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vittam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakana Vittam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhotale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatesha Tarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So let's have a short recap of what we did yesterday, chapter 9. So it was a summary of King of Knowledge, Rajya Vidya, Bhagavat Aishwarya Nana. He talked about Rajya Vidya, Rajya, the most confidential topic. That is, he talked about the purest knowledge we have. It's a Rajya Vidya, King of Education, knowing which we will be free from my miseries of life. Then the ways to approach Krishna, he says, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam. That is, he concludes the instruction to fix our mind upon him. Okay, Manmana Bhavo Madmakto. So he describes his opulence in which a devotee can fix his mind and remember Krishna whenever he sees anything opulent, powerful, and beautiful in this world. So now we learn the King of Education, the most secret, the way to approach Krishna. So now he is going to talk in this chapter. Krishna, he says, he is unknowable and source of all. He is the source of everything. And only pure bhakti, essence of Bhagavad Gita. Now he talks about 4 Chatur Slokas. This is 10.8 to 10.11. These 4 slokas are known as Chatur Slokas. Mad Chitta Mad Gata Prana. Arjuna now he will surrender. He says, he accepts Krishna's supreme position. He says, Sarvam Etad Etam Mani. So he gives up, talks about, he says, I fully agree with what you have said. I accept. And then he wants to know more about his opulences. So then Krishna describes his vibhutis. That is his opulences, about 84 opulence. In all these 23 verses, he talks about himself. Okay. So because Krishna wants to know more and more. In chapter 7 and 9, Krishna had explained how his different energies are working. No? So now in chapter 10, he will explain his specific manifestation and opulences, knowing which we can understand that the Lord is worthy of worship. Right? So it starts off with the Supreme Lord said, my dear friend, mighty armed Arjuna, listen again to my supreme word, which I shall impart to you for your benefit and which will give you great joy. Here what we see, this is a scene from Mahabharata, right? Just before the battle of Kurukshetra, both Duryodhana and Arjuna will approach Krishna for asking him to be on his side, right? So first Duryodhana would come and he won't sit at the foot of him, he'll go and sit at the head. No, he's so arrogant, you can see that. Whereas Arjuna who comes, he'll be humbly waiting for Krishna to get up and he'll be sitting at the feet. So this we saw. So this is the attitude we see in these two personalities, Duryodhana and Arjuna. And here the Lord says, listen again. Listen. See, every time he's stressing on the point of listening, because only through listening and listening to self-real persons with devotion, we can live with devotion. If you do, we can learn, we can understand the Lord. Hearing about Krishna can happen only with devotion. If somebody is willing to practice Anukul Bhakti, which is favorable to Krishna, I'm sorry, there's something with, I think then we can understand the Lord. Okay, this. So in Bhakti, that is, when we talk about devotion, there are two aspects to it. One is the action, whatever we do, no? Krishna says, no, you do everything for me. Then whatever we do, that is one. Another aspect is the intention. See, the intention is very important. Now we have the intention of pleasing the Lord is what is more important and what we are doing. So these are the two aspects which really has weight to the bhakti. Now, here Krishna Prabhupada tells us to listen again and again about Krishna so that our consciousness will be fixed on Krishna. So, and what is the benefit? Here he says, no, I shall impart to you for your benefit. What is the benefit? We'll be free from this cycle of birth and death. And that only will give us joy, because this world is dukkhalaya. We saw that, in the last chapter, he himself says this world is dukkhalaya, only is the spiritual world is full of joy. And we have to go back to him. And this is a temporary world, and there's no point in trying to make a permanent home in this place. So if you want, there's no point in putting faith into efforts into this world, what we are there. Then, Name Vidu Sure Ganaha Prabhavam Namhashaya Aham Adi E Devanam Mahashinam Cha Sarvasham. So what he says here, neither the host of demigods nor the great sages know my origin. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Since he is the origin of everything, he is the cause of all causes. So whatever he created, who he created, like Brahma or anything, they are the created beings, right? So they cannot know about the creator fully, because they are not the creator. So the ones, whoever is created, the origin. So he says, host of demigods, now the great sages know my origin. For in every respect, I am the source of the demigods and sages. Here, no, they are all eagerly waiting for the Lord Krishna to appear in the world. This is Devaki Mata with the Krishna. So they are like Narada, all are they are praying for the Lord to come. And he who knows me as the unborn, as the beginningless, as the supreme Lord of the worlds, undiluted among men, is free from all sins. So whatever sins he has, no karma, no, we said no karmic reactions, we have a whole lot of us, and we have been destined to be in this world, and we have to clear our sin load, sins which we have. So here he is giving us the way. He says, if we know that he is unborn, we have to realize that he is the beginningless and he is the supreme Lord of all, undiluted, then we'll be free from all sins. We don't have to know when we were born, when we had come, and what was our past and all that. All that we have a baggage, and that will be freed if we take the supreme, as Krishna as the supreme Lord of all the worlds. And the seven great Sapta Rishis, and before them the four other great races and the Manus of mankind are all born out of my mind, and all creatures in this planet descend from them. So if you ask your father, father, there will be a grandfather, great grandfathers and things. So if I want to know about the great grandfather, only he can tell, because I wouldn't know much about my great grandfathers, right? And others. So only they can tell us about us. Like if we tell about the phone and all we have today, this was not there in their time, isn't it? They won't understand. And what they had, we wouldn't understand how they could live without a mobile and all that. So these are the things which we don't know about them. But if you go straight, if you trace back, you will understand there's one God who is the one who has created everything. There has to be some origin. So here, Krishna himself says he is the, they're all born out of mind, and he is the one who is the source of all these living entities. And here we see Krishna and Balaram entering the city of Mathura, when Akura brings him. So, he who knows in truth this glory and power of mind, then service in unalloyed devotional service and engages in unalloyed devotional service, of this there is no doubt. Unalloyed means there's nothing mixed. We have alloys, like brass, bronze, and all that. They're all alloys of 2-3 metals. But here he talks about bhakti, which is unalloyed, ananya bhakti. So people who know his glory and the power of him, and he knows, and he's unborn and all, then they engage in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. So he says people who are having such faith, there are there who have this ananya bhakti, and they will be, there's no doubt about it. So he knows that such devotees are there. So now starts the Chatu Slokas. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravavattate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. I am the source. Aham sarvasya prabhava. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Mata sarvam pravartate. The wise who knows this perfectly engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So, the bhajante mam is worship me, who the one who are in wise people. So, this is the start of Chatu Sloka. And you can summarize Bhagavad Gita in these 4 slokas. That is why it's not a something. It's good to know this. So, he says now, I am the source of all spiritual material worlds. Everything emanates from him. So you can think of this as like what is our relationship with the Lord. So what is the thing? He's the origin, right? And he's the see, if you if you want to start a business with some friend, what do you do first and foremost? You try to get to know him. You like to see what his interest are and whether his interest in the business coincides with you. And you like to know more about him. Only then you will start to have a business and transaction with them, isn't it? Like that, this sloka tells us about the sambandha. See, everything emanates from him. He is the source of all. So once we know that, we try to engage in the devotional service with him and worship him. He is the worshipper person, worthy of worship. So they worship him with all their hearts. So this is the sambandha we have with the, only if we start some relating to the Lord, only then we can engage in the devotional service. Then what do you do after engage in the devotional service? There he talks about the activities of the wise men. Mat chitta madgata prana bodhyanta parasparam katyantascha mamityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me, their lives are surrendered to me, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss, enlightening one another and conversing about me. So they keep talking about the pure devotees. Their thoughts are all about the Lord, and their lives are surrendered to him, and they're so happy and they're satisfied. And what they will do, they will talk about him and they'll try to enlighten one another and converse about him. And here we see, this is a thing they had in San Francisco. You can see the thing. Sorry, I didn't share the sound. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
So you see how in Prabhupada, how they were all in the Sankirtan, that is what the pure devotees do all the time, talk about the Lord and the activities, and they converse among themselves. So this is the activities. So when we have the business relations, what do? We have the trading and we actually carry out the business. So this is the activities that is known as Abhideya, the devotees have with the Lord. Then what do they do? Tesham satata, how does the Lord reciprocate to them? That's what's said here. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. So to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So the understanding will come from him. Buddhi yogam tam. Dada means he gives us. And for what? Understanding how to go back to him. So that this is how Lord reciprocates to us. And here we see Dhruva Maharaj, when Lord gives him that darshan, when he gets it because of his tapas, then his tapas was so dedicated, and it was so austere that the whole, they were suffocating, all the devatas, because he was not breathing at all. He was breathing once in, I said once in a week or once in 10 days. So the whole world was suffocating. Then the Lord gives him the darshan. But when he sees the Lord, he's so overwhelmed, he doesn't know what to talk, He's just, he couldn't speak anything. Then the Lord will just touch his head with his conch shell and gives him all the knowledge. Then he is able to praise the Lord and worship, give beautiful prayers and all that. So this is how the Lord reciprocates with his devotees, because he gives them understanding how they can come to him. Okay. And then Tesham ena kampatam aham ajnana jam tamaha nashayam atma bhavasto jnana deepena bhasvata. So he gives us the jnana deepena. What is that? Out of compassion for them, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So the ignorance. See, we are all the time ignorant of a thing, because we have forgotten and we have been conditioned to be in this life. So we have forgotten the Lord. So we don't understand him completely. So he gives us the understanding. And also he's there in all our hearts, as Paramatma. Then he will destroy the darkness which we have inside us, the ignorance, by giving us the lamp of knowledge. That is Jnana Deepena. So here we see there are three personalities here in these three figures chapter thing. This is Parikshit Maharaj. When he comes to know that he has just 7 days left for him to die, to be in this world, then he leaves everything, kingdom, family and all that, and he comes to the bank of Ganges, and there he meets Sukadev Goswami, who recites the Srimad Bhagavatam. So just listening, he doesn't eat, nor sleep, nor anything. He is 24 hours. He's just listening to the glories of the Lord. That's what Sukadev Goswami will be narrating the Srimad Bhagavatam. And both of them, then he leaves the thing. So this is how he gets the understanding and he gets liberated. And here we have Devahuti. She is the daughter of Swayam Manu, for whom the Lord, as Kapila Dev, is born to her. And then to his mother, he will give the Sankhya philosophy. Because she asks him, why is this world, why the people, souls are conditioned, and what is the purpose of the life and all that. So the entire knowledge, Bhakti, he gives the Sankhya philosophy. That's Kapila Muni. And here we have Uddhava, There's a Uddhava Gita, like Bhagavad Gita, no? Uddhava Gita, Krishna is giving the jnana to these. So this is how the Lord reciprocates. So this is the prayojana. So we saw the sambandha. Unless we relate to him, unless we try to have a relation with him, knowing his opulence, knowing about him, then we can begin our devotional life. And what we do during a devotional life, we all the time think of the Lord, talk about him, glorify him, kirtanam and everything. And then how does the Lord reciprocate? He gives us the understanding to go back to him. So understand, unless he gives us the mercy, unless he sees our seriousness, unless he sees our sincerity and our intention and how we spend our activities and how we do, then he gives us the reciprocation. We will reciprocate accordingly and give us the understanding. And through the understanding, we will be able to also get the knowledge to go back to him. And what is the benefit in the business is the profit, isn't it? Same way, our benefit here would be to go back to the Lord and to break away, liberate ourselves from the cycle of birth and death. So this is a Chatur Slokas. So what does Arjuna do? After hearing everything, then he gives it, finally he accepts it. He says, "Your Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum, Ahuspam Rashaya Sarve, Devashi Naradas Tata, Asito Devala Vyasaha, Swayam Chaiva Bravashi Me." So what does the Lord say here? Not the Lord, Arjuna said, "You're the Supreme Brahman." That is, you're the Param Brahma, the ultimate, the supreme abode and purifier. That is, anyone who comes in touch with the Lord, they get purified. All the sins are freed and everything. So we get purified. And he's a purifier, absolute truth and eternal divine person. And you're the primal God, transcendental and original. You're unborn and all-pervading devotee. And not only agrees, he says, all the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala and Vyasa proclaim this of you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. So you are also telling, and I think no other God thinks Devatas tell this, no, that they are the Supreme Lord. They give the benedictions, they give the things, but they never declare themselves. Only here we see Krishna telling that he is the Supreme Brahman and he is the origin of one, the cause of all causes. So Arjuna says, I accept because you yourself have said, plus also he knows the testimonies from Narada, or great sages, no, Asita, Devala and all also have, they're told that this and is there in scriptures too. So he's telling, he accepts not only on the basis of what the Lord said, but also what the others also have said. Now, and then he continues, Sarvam etad Ritam manya yanmam vadashi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaptim vidu deva nam. I totally accept as truth, as all that you have told me. Neither the gods nor demons, O Lord, know thy personality. So he says, no, he is the origin. So none of them know you personally. And I accept this as a truth. Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own potencies, O origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, O Supreme Person, Lord of the universe. So you see how Arjuna surrenders. He has been so long asking so many doubts and his confusion was there. And you think, and you see the mood, how the mood changes. See how he is surrendering. Now he asks, how should I meditate? Because now he is, till now he was only thinking of myself, his friend, no? And then he thought, then he changed to the Guru position, Krishna. Now he is asking, how should I meditate on you? In what various forms are you to be contemplated? O blessed Lord, tell me again in detail, O Janardana, Krishna, of your mighty potencies and glories, for I never tire of hearing your ambrosial words. So now he's asking, he says, now he wants to know more about the Lord. So now you see how he's changed his mood. And he is eager to know more about whom all we see in this picture. You see Narada, Brahma, Shiva, then we see Rama, Lord Rama, Airavata, then Shurabhi, and Prahlad, then Yamaraj, then Skanda, then Shark, and all that. So the blessed Lord said, yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjuna, for my opulence is limitless. So he has asked him to glorify. No, he says it's very limitless, it's unlimited, he can't think. So he will only tell the prominent ones so that you can get the essence. So which are prominent. So among the sun, the luminaries is among the luminaries is the sun. Among the Marutis is the Marishi. Among the stars is the moon. Among the Vedas is Shamaveda. Among the demigods, Indra. That means it's not that he is Indra, but it's the opulence is Indra. That is the capacity. Among the senses is the mind. Among the living beings is the life force. And among the Rudras, there are many Rudras are there. Among them, Lord Shiva. Among the Yakshas and Rakshasas is Kuvera. Among the priests, Brihaspati. Among the generals, Kanda. Bodies of water is ocean. Among the sages, Brigumuni. Then vibrations, Om. Chanting of holy name, Japa, I am the sacrifice. I mean, among the sacrifices is the chanting of holy name. Then among the immovable things is Himalayas. Among the trees, holy faith. Among the sages of the demigods is Narada. Singers is Chitrakrita, Kapila, and this. So, and all that is only telling the sources of all opulence. There is about 84 lists he gives here in this chapter. The weapons is the Vajra, then the among the cows, Shurabhi, then procreators is the Kandarpa, serpents, Masuki, Ananta, Varuna, Aryama, that is the departed ancestors, Pitraloka. Yama is the dispensers of law. Then among the deity, demons, he is the Prahlad. And among the time, subdues, he is the Kala. He is the one who comes as a Kala for the annihilation period. Then lion, then the birds is the Garuda, then purifies the wind, then Rama, Shah, beginning, and then the creations is the origin, middle, and also then spiritual science and conclusive truth. So, and then again he goes among the women means is the Shakti. That means normally we speak Shakti as women gender, no? That is what. Fame, fortune, speech, memory, intelligence, faithfulness, and patience is the women. Hymns is the breath among the poetry, Gayatri, Margashira, months, and the things. Goes on with this. Okay. So everything, whatever he says, anything you see opulent, and beautiful, and is powerful, and the thing that will remind you of Krishna. So that's what he says, the prominent ones. He says there's a quiet is, opulence is limitless. So here we see how these things will remind us of the Lord, beauty, power, opulence, and all that. So furthermore, Arjuna, I am the generating seed of all existence. There's no being moving or unmoving. You may ask how he can be in the unmoving. Actually, he's in the atom, and we know from science, within the atoms, the electrons and protons and all that, they're all moving inside. So with energy. So he is inside there as even in unmoving and atoms also he is there as Paramatma. Unless his energy is there, it cannot move. It cannot be living. So unmoving and moving thing he can, and that can exist without me. O mighty conqueror of enemies, there is no end to my divine manifestations. Whatever spoken to you is but a mere indication of my infinite opulences. And entire cosmic everything is working as per the order. The sun goes on its orbit, the moon is there on its orbit, even all the stars and the other planets, and the whole thing is going round and round in their own orbit as per the time it gets destroyed or annihilated and created. So only thing is we should contemplate is, can anyone make a statement like this? So here it is clearly established that Krishna is the Supreme Lord of all the beings. He is the Maheshwara. And know that all opulent and know that all are beautiful and glorious and mighty creations spring but a spark of my splendor. It's just by his glance he creates the whole thing. And the whole thing is working just on his energy. Yadyad vibhutmat sattvam srimad urjitam evacha tattva deva gaccha tvam mama tejosmi sambhava. So this is all about him. Then, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So he concludes with this, saying that it's not sentimental. Since Arjuna accepted everything, then he talked about, when he asked him about to tell about his opulences, he gives the details, but he says it's just a fragment of himself. Okay. So this is how he ends this chapter. From we knew he is the source, and pure bhakti is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. That's what we understand from this 10.10 last 30 slokas, where he summarizes his opulences and how devotees relate to him, Abhidaya, and now how Krishna relates to his devotees. We saw that is reciprocation. He gives us the understanding and he gives us the knowledge. Through the knowledge, our ignorance goes. Yeah, Jnana Dipena. Then we see how Arjuna accepts his supreme position, and he asks Krishna to describe his vibhutis. That is, with this inconceivable opulence. That is why it is vibhutis. And he describes his devotees, and then says just a small, these are all just a spark of his splendor. So actually this Bhagavad Gita is like a spiritual science only. There we see that theory, whatever the theory we learned, that is the thing, he's a source of everything and all that, and is the essence of Gita and is everywhere. And this why science means it's like a theory we heard, that is Sambandha. Then the experiment is how we, unless we practice, experience, we take up the devotional work. That is our experiments. And then the benefit is, and what do we get the result? The result is to go back to the spiritual abode. Okay. And we here get a nice saying from Vishwanatha Thakura. He's a great acharya. He says, once one understands who Krishna is, then one can surrender. Otherwise, it's difficult because the surrender doesn't come so easily. And when one surrenders to the shelter of the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-bliss-granting, Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one can feel secure. Because when you feel surrendering to someone, there will always be a fear in your mind. But once you surrender to the Lord, you can feel very secure because He will take care of you. That's what we saw here. He's going to give us the understanding and He will be in His shelter. And one can feel, when one can feel secure, he can feel peaceful. So this is how we can surrender to the Lord, and understanding Krishna is all about. So this is what Vishwanath Thakura says. And with this, I will end my chapter. It's very short and beautiful. Ancha kalpatru abhyascha kripa sindhu abheyevacha patitam nam pavane bho vaishnavyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please chant and be happy. I hope you all are doing that.